Okay. um. Hello, um, patrons and mods and anyone else who's showing up early. We'll probably go private for like 5 minutes and then or whatever. I don't know. YouTube streaming is always a mess. I set like everything up on YouTube and then went to activate it from Streamlabs and then I had to reset everything. So that's fun. At least now you can unlist the video before it goes live. So I'm not sitting here for like 5 minutes with the public. Ooh, stream's starting soon. Oh no, no wait. Okay. Okay, there we go. I'm still setting up, of course, because why wouldn't I be? Wait, no. I need to see. I'm using Twitter pictures today because I'm a little bit too lazy to download all these images and have them manually come up. So I need to make sure I don't have anything weird on the screen from Twitter because Twitter do be like that. Okay, I think we got it. There we go. Yay, we did it. I guess here's a preview. Why not? We're going to start today talking about, oops, the Kiramager movie and the finale stuff because there's like nothing there. It's like if you've seen the trailer, it's all there. It's like here's the movie, it's coming out. This Ryusoulger movie, it's coming out. The finale, very hot suit, coming out. That's it. I don't think there's any other info about that. And then from there, I'll go to Zenkaiger. I forget. Yeah, I was gonna go to Zenkaiger because Sentai to Sentai, and then I'll spend the rest of the time talking about Saber because I'm quite frankly more excited for Saber. But that's just because I'm more excited for Kamen Rider. Zenkaiger looks very good, so I guess we'll go public. We'll go live. Well, I am live. I mean, we'll open it up. Everyone. Oh shoot! Wait, no. I need to. Well, first I'm gonna change to the standby again, and then I need to tweet out the link because that's a thing I need to do. What should I say? Should I like put hashtags in it? Hello everybody, I am talking about hashtag I'm talking about Kamen. Oop, wait. The new magazine picks for hashtag Kamen Rider Saber and hashtag Kikai Sentai. I spelled Saber wrong because I'm smart. I don't think anyone uses the hashtag Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger, so I'm just gonna use Zenkaiger. And then we'll do that. Saber's this is alright. I'm enjoying it, but I'm not sure how much of that is like I enjoy the characters in the story, or it's like I like seeing Toma and Saikou transform because I really like their suits. I need to come to that conclusion at some point if it's like, do I really like the show or do I really like the way everything looks? So, yeah. How do I make this public again? I found it. And public, done, save. There we go. It's going out into the world. Well, I mentioned the Z manga. Thank you for reminding me. I will mention the Z manga for a couple seconds because I forgot about that and I forgot how sad that makes me. So, yes, I will briefly mention the Z manga even though I don't have any pictures because there's nothing new with the Ultraman stuff. So I think that's it. I'll wait for the Discord to update and send out the notification, and then I myself will send out the thing on Twitter. So yeah, Megadong is my number 2 fan. Thank you for being my number 2 fan. It makes me curious who number 1 is then, but oh, the Discord updated, so now I can send out the Twitter link. Woohoo. Perfect timing. And then I'll wait until whatever. I'll wait for more people to join before I start talking. The manga doesn't mean we won't get a movie. Okay, I didn't know that. I thought it meant we don't get a movie. So I was a little worried there. I hope we get a movie. Let's see. Welcome, Just Josh and Crimson Comment with the very relevant Deno Orisanjo, which is the writer potential is coming out. I'll say that again later, but hopefully I'll get the writer potential. No, not hopefully. For sure, it's coming out sometime next week. Whether or not that is Friday or Monday or Wednesday, we'll see. But the Deno writer potential is coming out next week, and if you want to see it early, probably like this weekend or something, $2 on Patreon, and you can see it early. But not right now because I haven't finished it yet. I'm not even halfway through with it. I'm close to, I'm halfway through with the editing. So I should be able to get it done quickly because the possible sales part is pretty easy to edit because a lot of it is images. So that'll be good. But anyways, welcome Kamendzilla and Deca Red to the live stream, and Dragonfire Studios and Axon 5150. As you can probably tell from the title and the thumbnail, last night for me, so like give or take over 12 hours ago, we finally got the magazine leaks from Televikun, and we got our looks at Kamen Rider Saber stuff. A lot of, pretty much for Saber, it's all new stuff. For Zenkaiger, it's like new images of stuff, but it's not like a lot of it is things we have not seen before. But I'm gonna be talking about Saber, in order. I'm gonna be talking about the Kiramager and Ryusoulger movies and briefly Ultraman. Then the Zenkaiger stuff, and then the Saber stuff. And then I don't know how long I'm going to go for, because I don't want to go for too long, because I want to go edit the writer potential. I want to get that out. But I also really wanted to talk about the scans. I haven't talked about the scans in a while. Did I talk about... I don't think I even talked about... the Caliber stuff. I don't think I've talked about magazine scans in like months. So this is the first time I've talked about magazine scans in months. So that's very cool. Oh yes, thank you Starnova. I did notice that the complete selection modification altering has like new info out. So if you're an Agito fan or a CSM collector or whatever, you can now go see where $300 of your wallet is going to go to, I think. I don't know how much it is. That's a joke. Which Zenkaiger do I prefer from the set? The red and yellow one. But we'll get into that. Let's get into the stuff. That is the one. Oops. There we go. Okay. Maybe I should turn on studio mode. Okay. So I'm lazy today, and we're going to only look at. I'm gonna be using Twitter images from my Twitter. So if you want to see anything that I'm talking about here, direct link in the description to the exact Twitter thread I am using. I have also retweeted it on my Twitter if you follow me. And if you don't follow me, I'm like 4 followers from 1,000. So if you have a Twitter account, you should probably go follow me. So there's that. So first up is the movies. I need to make the image larger for me. So the movies, let's see. The Zenkaiger movie I'll talk about with the Zenkaiger stuff because that's like mostly Zenkaiger, not really a separate movie. So the Kiramager movie is coming out and the Ryusoulger movie is coming out. I think the Kiramager movie is called like Bebop something. I don't remember the full title because it looks fine. It's a movie. It's a Kiramager movie. I think this is the original idea they were going to have before they had to delay it. So it looks fine. It looks like a Sentai summer movie. It looks like it's going to be fun. Hopefully it's actually good because it's a Ryusoulger movie I didn't really like despite being a Ryusoulger fan. So I like they're incorporating the what's her name though? The witch girl. I don't remember her name. The witch girl that was in like the singular Kiramager episode, and she's the main villain of this, so I like that. Although if you don't watch the movies and you just watch the series, you're probably gonna be like, what happened to the one witch lady whose name you probably don't remember because I don't. So thank you. The movie's called Bebop Dream, because it's a dream sequence movie, so that's cool. I'm personally more excited for the Ryusoulger movie because I'm a big Ryusoulger fan. If you want to hear my full thoughts, I have a review out. But I love Ryusoulger, so the fact that they just announced like we're making another movie makes me very happy. I'm very excited for it. There's just no info about it, which I think makes me more excited, kind of. It's more interesting what's going to happen in it, because what I was guessing is that if you didn't know, the Ryusoulger stage show was like super cool. Like they made a whole new ranger suit. His name was like Ryusoulger, and like they revived Geizolg, and they had like a 7 ranger roll call. All the rangers got their armor on. And we had Max, and it was super cool. There's like one image out of the 7 Rangers, and that's it, because the stage show had to get canceled. So then no one really, at least Americans, because Americans are dumb, or sorry, not just Americans, anyone that doesn't live in Japan, but Americans are dumb. No one outside of Japan or even has gone to that stage show has really seen the stage show. So I thought they were going to adapt the stage show into this movie. That could be what is happening. But I've also seen a lot of theories that it's a movie that takes place during Ryusoulger. Like, if you've seen Kamen Rider Gaim, they have the Gaim guidance, which most of them place in between episodes of the show. So I've seen theories that this movie actually takes place in between episodes 32 when Geizolg is purified and episode 33 when Geizolg is not purified. I'm not going to spoil it. So this movie could take place in between that, and I would actually be fine with that because no matter what, it means we're getting more Geizolg and more Nada with the other characters, which is kind of what I wanted out of the movie anyway. So if they're doing that, that's fine. I think that's a very unique approach to it, but I would actually really prefer if it was the stage show being adapted, because I would really, really like to see Ryusoulger Moria in action. Also, Weisel's in it. He's in the trailer, and that's great. That's great. I love it. Why did the stage show get canceled? There was a little thing that happened in March last year. They had to shut a lot of things down. I don't really want to say it because I don't want to. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube, but it starts with a C, it ends with a 19. Yeah. So that's it for the movies. We do have info about the finale, and I mean technically the only info is that we have this very, very, very cool suit, probably my favorite suit to come out of Kiramager, and it's Garza fused with Emperor Yodon. So is he on the next image? I guess I'll stay on this image for a second. It looks like obviously this is the last month of Kiramager, so we're in the end game now. That was not an intentional reference. And we're gonna be getting everyone versus Emperor Yodon. I guess that is a very big suit, but I think they're either gonna defeat Yodon very quickly or something's gonna happen, because he doesn't stay normal Yodon for very long, because I think this Garza is a fusion with Emperor Yodon. So I think Garza is our final boss of the entire show, which is very cool. I think I need someone confirm if it is a Garza fusion with Yodon. I think it is a Garza fusion with Yodon, but I think the suit looks great, whether or not it's a Garza fusion with Yodon. But if it is a fusion as the final boss, I think that's really great. Making Garza the final boss of the show is a really unique idea, I think. I think it's fitting for what the show has been doing with Garza, just because Yodon's just kind of there. I mean, I don't have a problem with him being the final boss, because he's been in the background the whole time, but I think it would be much more interesting if they made this Garza the final boss. But who knows? They don't tell us anything in the finale scans, because they want to keep it a sneak peek, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I like keeping stuff under wraps. So very excited for the finale of Kiramager. Hopefully I will be able to get my review out on time after the show ends. I don't know when I should mention this, but my schedule for videos that I mentioned before is kind of getting shuffled around, because I was going to do the Shinkenger review and Sentai Potential after Den-O Potential, but it's not gonna that's not gonna happen. It's not. Well, they are going to be videos I want to make, but I'm going to first have to make, I'm going to make this review, the Zenkaiger review, and the Kiramager Potential first, because, yeah, that's going to come out. That needs to come out after the finale, because, timing. So, stuff is going to be kind of delayed, but, hopefully by, the beginning of summer or something, I'll have, all those videos I've talked about out. Finally, so I can start watching new shows. So yeah, that's it for the Kiramager Ryusoulger stuff. I also did briefly want to mention, I don't have any pictures here, but there's, for my Ultraman fans, which there's not a lot of you here, I think, but they announced an Ultraman manga, and there hasn't been any announcement for a movie, so there may or may not be a movie for Z, sorry, but there is a manga. So yeah, I don't know when they usually announce the movies, so I don't really know if this was when they would announce a movie and there's not going to be a movie. I feel like they'll make a movie, but they'll do it later if they have to. So I don't know. I've I haven't even been watching Ultraman for a year, so I don't know why I'm trying to sound like I know what I'm talking about when I don't. So Kiramager, there we go. Did anyone say anything? I'm looking. Trailer should be in a couple weeks. Oh, so okay, so if there's a Z movie, there would be a trailer in a couple of weeks. Okay, so I guess stay hopeful for a Z movie. Okay, that's very cool. Thank you, Grand Muchaki. So speaking of manga, Kamen Rider Saber. Just kidding, we're not talking about Saber yet. So I'm going to actually just take that off the screen for a second while I go look for the what am I doing next? Zenkaiger. Zenkaiger? Do you guys know what Zenkaiger is? It's just a little show you may not have heard about. So Zenkaiger. If you wanted to hear my full thoughts on like the initial stuff with Zenkaiger, I have I did a whole other video or a whole other live stream where I talked all about the Zenkaiger press conference and some of the information we got so far. It's not public anymore. You have to go into the live streams folder on the channel, and then it's right there. So if you want to get my unfiltered, I don't know, my initial thoughts on this show, but I also I'm gonna be talking about it more here. So here we go. Picture Zenkaiger, the 4 other Kikinoid Zenkaigers, the mecha. We got a bunch of Sentai Reds. You can see. I think this is all of them, but I also haven't seen every Sentai, so I don't really know. And at the bottom right, we have the cast appearing for the first time in the magazines because they weren't in the last one because we didn't know if any of these people existed yet. So, a lot of this is kind of just stuff we already knew. So just for, I'm probably not going to talk too much about a lot of these because it's like, here's Kaito, I forgot his name. Here's Kaito as for the first time in the scans. Little transformation preview, I guess. You can see, hi Magine. If you guys missed the last stream, Magine is my favorite Zenkaiger. I love her. So, very happy to see civilian form Magine in the scans for the first time. So there she is with all the other teammates. She's the leader. If you didn't know, it's not Kaito. Here, I forgot she's here. Hi Magine. Here's all the other Kikinoids with their ranger forms. If you didn't know their names, going from left to right is Zenkai Vroom, or Vroom turns into Zenkai Vroom with the Bokenger powers, so he's based off Daiboken. In pink is the best Kikinoid, Magine, who turns into Zenkai Magine, who uses the powers of Magi Ranger and is based off of Magi King. This is Gaon, who turns into Zenkai Gaon, who uses the powers of Gao Ranger and Gao King? I forgot. I don't know the Gao Ranger mecha name, but I think I didn't know it last time either, so you can tell how good my memory is. And then on the right, our Red Ranger is Zenkai, or his Juran turns into Zenkai Juran, and he's based off of G Ranger and Daijujin. I forgot the name for a second. Here's more Kikinoids everywhere. Everyone's calling me a simp. I'm not a simp, but I'm not really gonna argue with that because you guys won't listen to me. Gao King. All right, perfect. My memory is better than I thought it was, so I am. I don't know. I lost my train of thought. So here's Kikinoids. It's Sentai shenanigans. I don't know what else to say. There's not a lot to glean from this picture except it's I'm not sure if this is from the movie or if this is from the the first episode, because the first trailer, I believe all the clips in the first trailer were from the movie. So I don't know if we've seen anything from the show yet. It could all be first trailer stuff. So I don't know. I mean the movie, because the movie comes out before. Does the movie comes out before the show, and I don't know how much of this stuff is stuff that's in the show or stuff that is in the movie. So I do know these are the Kikinoids again in their ranger forms, but now they're big because when they turn big, they are the mega forms, or the Megazords. Sorry, not the mega forms. So here's red colored Magine OC1. You should check my Twitter profile. Anyway, here's all the Kikinoid ranger forms as their giant forms, and I do like on the right you can see that I guess it's like Ultraman, like we're gonna have them like rise like the Ultraman or grow big like Ultraman. I think that's kind of cool. And you can see cute little tiny Zenkaiger on Juran's shoulder, and I think that's great. I hope that does not last more than one episode, because I think it's kind of funny. He just chills out on their shoulders. Here's something I didn't put in the last stream because I'm dumb. We have the 4 Kikinoids and their animal, their vehicle, their alternate modes. I don't remember if they do have specific names. I just can't remember what those specific names are. But here are the Kikinoid mecha forms or alternate forms. So I don't remember any of their names, but you can see Juran is a dinosaur, Magine is a dragon, Vroom is a dump truck, and Gowan is he's supposed to be a lion, but he doesn't have a mane, so he comes across more as not even a lioness. He just looks like a weird cat creature. Gowan's is definitely the worst, I think, of the animal vehicle modes, but I think Magine's is the best as a dragon, or Vroom as a dump truck. Those two vehicle modes are much better. The other two are just kind of... The T-Rex actually looks a lot better in the show CG image, because the toy looked kind of whack. So, alright, this is the big one. Well, kind of. This is Zenkaiou Juragaon. So this is the first Megazord we're going to see appear, I think. And I think this looks great. He looks really cool. I love the colors, the yellow and red, and the general design of the Megazord looks fantastic. I like the whole Ryusoulger thing with like what's its name? The Kishiryu Neptune thing with like the kind of open mouth like halves, or I guess you could also say it's like Kamen Rider Double with like the W aspect, because that's totally a thing here, like a W on the chest. And yeah, I did talk about the Megazord a bit last time, so I'm not sure what else to go over. But Thomas likes Zenkaiger. I do like Zenkaiger. I'm excited for Zenkaiger. Yeah. Megazord. Luna Heat. There you go. It's Luna Heat. That's pretty good. So I think this is... Here we go. Magine Megazord. So this is Vrumagine. So this is our first look at Vrumagine as a suit in the show, and it's all right. It's certainly much better than the toy looked, which is not a surprise because that's how Sentai and Kamen Rider works. But it does look noticeably all right, I think, compared to Vrumagine. I'm sorry, this is Vrumagine. I mean, Juragaon. I think Juragaon looks much more unified than Vrumagine. I think it's just kind of because they got the wings and the what is it, like the wheels on the feet, and it kind of feels like lopsided ish. I don't know, something about this one, it doesn't it's not as cool as Juragaon in my opinion, but I think it still looks pretty cool. Yeah, in the show now. Now that we know what the suit looks like, and on the left, we have the combo forms, which I'm not even gonna try to say the names because I'm gonna say it wrong. But you have the Magine and Juran combo, and the Gaon and Vroom combo, and it looks like they're CG, so possibly they're gonna be like CG exclusive combos, kind of like Sky Mage was in Kiramager. They didn't make an actual suit of that; it was just a little CG thing that flew around. So, do I believe the Kamen Rider community was comparing Zenkaiger to Kamen Rider? I mean, that's not even. That's not even I lost my train of thought because Patty Murphy super chatted, so I'll just read the super chat. Thank you for the €5, I think. The 5 currency. I really appreciate it. And he said, Magine fusing with 2 men. 2? What a thought. I disagree, but thank you for the super chat. So because of this, it came in the form of a super chat. I will allow that statement. So I think I was saying Zenkaiger being compared to Kamen Rider. I mean, I can see the comparison because he's got the eyes, but I think if you say Zenkaiger looks like a Kamen Rider, then by extension you have to admit that Aka Rider looks like a Kamen Rider. Because he's obviously an Aka Rider comparison, and then he's obviously Aka Rider like evolved. So if you're like he looks like a Kamen Rider, then Aka Rider has to look like a Kamen Rider by your standards as extension. By extension, not the person I'm referring to specifically, but just in general. When people are like he looks like a Kamen Rider, well yes, but then the other guy that he's based off of in Sentai kind of looks like a Kamen Rider, then you have to say. So, anyway, so what is next? Okay, yeah. So we got our looks. Some new stuff now. Let's see. Let's break it down. On the top left, we have Zenkaiger's parents, I think, and we had the little birdie that I forgot to mention last time. I think his name is Sechan. The parents are missing, I think, in the show, but they made all the Zenkaiger gear, and they also made Sechan, and Sechan's rumored to become like a Megazord for Zenkaiger later, but that's just a rumor. There's nothing, that's just speculation, not even a rumor, I guess. I don't know. And then we have some more Sentai gears, not Zenkai gears. So we have, I do recognize these. This is Hurricaneger, Tokuger, Ninninger, and Juoger. I don't know who this the 06 is, because that's a very old Sentai, and my knowledge does not go back that far. However, we do get our first look at kind of what the Sentai gears will do. So this 06 Sentai will be used to create ribbons, which I think is a weapon that Sentai used. So it kind of goes on and off between summoning ranger weapons and like ranger abilities. So in this case, it summons the ribbon weapons I assume they used in the Sentai. But I don't know the Sentai. Everyone's saying the mom isn't missing. The mom is missing. The lady we're seeing in the trailers is his grandmother. So his parents are missing. His grandmother is the one in the show, not his mother. It's Goggle 5. Thank you. So this is 06 Goggle 5. The Goggle 5 gear summons the ribbon weapon. So yeah. So on the right, I know the bad guys are called Tojinoids, I think. But that's as far as my knowledge goes. So we get our first look. I think this is like a mushroom dude, Tojinoid. And I'm really interested in what's going on here because I don't really know what's going on here. Because you can kind of see there's a few Tojinoids on this image alone. we get our first look at like a gear at the bottom right. The villain gears, I think. That's as far as my knowledge extends on those. But you can see like there's this same Tojinoid, and at the bottom he has like 2 different sets of legs. And one of the sets of legs looks like it comes from the dude. I forgot I have a mouse. The dude in the middle. So I'm interested in what's going on with the Tojinoids, because I don't really know if that's what they're called. I might be saying it wrong. What do I think of the Gear Tlinger? It's fine. I don't think it looks amazing, but the sounds seem cool. I'm sure the sounds will be cool. I think it looks all right, though. I'm not in love with it. Oh, he's supposed to be a UFO? Yeah, I can see that. He definitely looks like a UFO. I just thought it was like a mushroom because of the first trailer. They're fighting in like a mushroom world. So, yeah, there were rumors, or not even rumors. It was just speculation that whether or not the Sentai Gears would create, if they would summon the other Rangers I'd seen a bit. Pretty much everyone agreed it wouldn't turn the characters into the other Rangers, because Gokaiger already did that, and like you wouldn't do that again because that's kind of dumb. And then it is a mushroom. Interesting. I have no idea anymore, but mushroom UFO, there you go, I solved it. So there was also a lot of speculation that there would be the Sentai Gears would create armor for Zenkaiger, but I never really saw that, because like we would have seen that in the trailer. That seems like a big thing. You'd be like, they can create other armor, whatever. So yeah, I didn't really think that, but they summon past weapons and powers. It's kind of oddly inconsistent. Here's a great picture, actually. This should have been the first picture I used, but I didn't. So I already said everything. Here's the Megazords, Zenkaiger, and the 4 Kikinoid Rangers. Very cool picture. Here's more Zenkaiger. On the top right, actually, you can see, I think those are other Kikinoids. So we are going to see other Kikinoids. I think I'm interested to see like why our 4 Kikinoids just happen to look like 4 past Ranger Sentai civilian forms, and they even look very different to these 4 or these Kikinoids. Like they have the same kind of head structure. The other 4 have completely different head structures from each other and these dudes and girls, I think. So I'm interested to see what that's all about. Here's another great image, Magine, of everyone again. I like the little background of the Megazords in the back. That's pretty cool. So did you know that Zenkaiger is recruiting Zenkaigers to recruit him? I did not know that, or maybe I did. I probably didn't. Thank you for letting me know. So the monster is a mushroom called Kinokowald. So mushroom monster, but it's a robot. So mushroom monster robot. You don't know what the story is. Well, basically it's like a parallel world thing. So like Kamen Rider Decade, they're going to be traveling to parallel worlds, I think, with the other Sentai, or that have other Sentai Rangers. Is this going to be comparable in some way to Kamen Rider 01 with their robots? I don't think so. From the sounds of it, it's not going to be like Kaito is the friend of the robots and they're going to need to come together, because I think the world Kaito lives in already has a bunch of Kikinoids. So it's not going to be like 01 where it's like humans need to learn to live with Kikinoids. It's like, no, he's already with 4 of them. There's already like millions of them. Like, no, I don't think so. I hope not, because 01 just did that and I wouldn't really like it to happen again, even though 01 did it fine. Here's another imp. So here's a great example of another way the Sentai Gears are going to be used. With Juo Eagle, so I do know who this one is. If the Ryusoulger gear gets used, it looks like it gives Zenkaiger Juo Eagle powers. This looks like a CG effect, so I'm not sure anything's gonna change on his suit, but it is very reminiscent of in Ryusoulger. Juo Eagle had this mode change where he like grew wings and he flapped wings and like he had wings. So this is a wing. He gets those wings instead of he has like the sword Juo Eagle had. So it's kind of, I guess it just switches around between giving them the, at least Zenkaiger. I don't know if the other Kikinoids will be able to use the powers, but at least with Zenkaiger it kind of goes around between using, I guess, like the weapon of the team or just the Red Ranger powers or something. Wings, yes. Wings. Do I think the Kikinoids will be compared to the Jumen and the bots in Go Buster? Well, I haven't seen either of those, but I do know what you mean. This is definitely like Ryusoulger, where it's the one human and it's the four other not humans, except in this case they won't have human faces. They're gonna keep the robots, so that's pretty cool. Go Buster, I'm not sure because I don't really know how Go Buster handled the Buddy Roids, but I would assume maybe I don't really know because there's four of them and they don't like they're all partnered to Zenkaiger, so it's not like, you know, we need to become better partners. It's like we're all on the same team. We all need to be better partners with each other. So I don't know. We'll see. Is this Super Sentai? Yes. This is a Sentai season. The 45th Sentai season. Here's another picture of the Megazords and the animal modes. We've already seen this. And here's the mushroom monster again. And this is what I was talking about. I think, unless my memory is just horrible, which is probably what's going on, but this, actually, I'm just going to go check. This looks different. Yes, it is different. His head is the same, but the body is completely different. So, I guess, actually, now that I think about it, this does look like it's going to be what Go Busters and now Kiramager is doing, where I guess we're going to get the big monster that is based off of the tiny monster, except in this case, they're robots again. So, I was confused because I thought I could have sworn the giant robot form was the civilian robot form, and this one on screen was like a different one. So I was just confused with how with what the suits that were being used were. But I guess now that I actually go through everything, it does make sense to me. So that's crazy. Something actually makes sense to me. That's never really happened. So, big monster or robot. Do I even call them big monsters anymore? Because they're robots. Kind of interesting. Robot on robot action. I don't know how society will treat the Zenkaigers for defeating Kikinoids. So here's more looks at the, I forgot her name, Tojinoids. So at the bottom, or at the top is our mushroom friend, and at the bottom is our big mushroom friend. I would assume next to him is just another robot style, and you can see the whole body is the same. It's just painted differently. So I guess that's kind of the motif they're going to be going with. I'm going to assume the dude on the top right is a general, because it doesn't look like a monster of the week. He's got like a whole sash or like a belt with a symbol on it, so he definitely looks like a general. And then I'm going to guess I know for a fact the dudes in the middle are our foot soldiers, but I feel like the bigger dude is like, that's either a general or it could be like an evolved foot soldier, like in the only thing I can think of is Geki Ranger Jungle Fury, where they had like the one monster that was kind of like the foot soldier, but he had like an evolved form. that's all that's all me guessing. So um do I think the Megazord looks like Kamen Rider Double? Yeah, I can see that comparison. Toji Tendo, that's the name of the villains. Thank you, Toji Tendo. The Kikinoids don't have to worry about getting affected. Well, there are still computer viruses, so they have to watch out for computer viruses. That is a very interesting comparison. Saber is doing Ryusoulger, so Zenkaiger is using 01. I mean, on a very basic level, yes. So bad guys. So we can also see the gear again. It doesn't look very unique to the mushroom motif, so I don't know if that is like what all of them are gonna look like or something. So I'm very confident this guy's a general now that I look at it again. So I'm very confident he's a general. Foot soldiers, I'm guessing this is an evolved foot soldier. I like how the foot soldiers have like the ranger like kind of black visor. I think that's kind of cool. While our actual rangers don't have the typical black visor, because the only ranger looking dude is Zenkaiger, and his is blue because Aka Ranger. So I think that's kind of funny. So last couple images. Here's just an image of the whole team again. That's a nice image. Hi, Magine. So here's the movie. I know for a fact this is for the movie because it says the movie on the title. So the movie looks very cool. I'm really excited for the movie because it looks kind of like a little bit of a scaled back yet scaled up version of the Gokaiger movie where they had all the Rangers fighting like all the monsters. This time it's only all the Red Rangers, but it's like a prequel movie, so I think that's fine. And also, given the world conditions, I think it's fine that we just got all Red Rangers. And I'm excited for this movie. I would say it's hard to. I think this is probably my more anticipated Sentai movie right now, just because we don't really know anything about the Ryusoulger movie. I think I'm more excited for this just because it's a bunch of suits fighting. Magine aside, I'm more excited for this just because of all the we get to see all the Red Rangers fight with the Zenkaigers, and it's another prequel movie, I think, which is going to be really cool. Kiramager's prequel was really good, so hopefully this will be really good. But also, this is kind of doing a completely different thing from the Kiramager prequel, so it could also be bad, but probably not. I have faith it'll be really cool. So they don't really highlight it here, but the main thing with this is this one Gokaiger villain. I haven't seen Gokaiger, but I know his name is Bosco. He's the main villain of this. He's the one reviving all the villains, I think, because he did that in Gokaiger. So, yeah, that's it. I don't know. It's Bosco. Literally the plot in the movie just looks like Bosco revives a bunch of villains, and presumably the Zenkaigers form to defeat all these villains. And now it's like, hey, now we have to go save other worlds, I guess. But noticeably, there are no Ryusoulger villains and Kiramager villains, I think, because they have their own movie. So I think that's kind of fun. But you can see, you can barely see it in this image, but what's his name? Juru, Kirame Red, and Ko Ryusoul Red are in among the shot of the, I guess the 45 Red Rangers, because Keiichiro is there, alongside Juran, I guess, the other Red Ranger. And I think I think in the trailer there's a gag where they're like, what, the leader of the other team is a White Ranger because Zenkaiger, so I think that's kind of funny. So yeah, that is that's it for all the Zenkaiger stuff. I guess I'll leave it on here for a couple more minutes if we have any other things we want to talk about with Sentai, the Sentai news. Power Rangers is no longer the only one to do Forever Red. That's true. Although this one they probably won't get all the Ranger actors back. So I don't know. It depends if you like seeing more suits or more returning characters, I guess. Do I think the logo looks like a Showa Sentai logo? I mean, I guess. I don't really... the suits... Zenkaiger gives me a Showa vibe, but I don't know about, like, the logo. Like, I mean, it's hard to say what is the Showa vibe of a logo, I guess. I don't know. So, I guess I will move into Kamen Rider Saber, because Kamen Rider Saber. Where am I? Wait, okay, first we're gonna turn this off. What do I do? There we go. Okay. Where is my Kamen Rider Saber stuff? Alright, there we go. Again, link in the description if you want to follow along or look at the images on your own time. There we go. Saber. So Saber is getting down to the thing. This is our first kind of look at Saber's super form, Kamen Rider Saber primitive dragon form. So let's Alright, there we go. This is a great image. So as far as I know, so I don't really know how to... I know there's a lot of information that's kind of spread out among the scans. So basically, I think this looks really cool, I guess. I'll start talking about the suit itself. Why am I delving into this story? Me talking about story? That's crazy. So I think this form looks really cool. I'm not sure how I would place it against Dragonik. I wasn't really the biggest fan of Dragonik because it felt like such a departure from Saber, but then this came along. So I don't think it's fair of me to say I don't like Dragonik for being a departure of Saber when there's barely any red on this form. So maybe I don't know. I guess it's my least favorite Saber form so far, like just Saber, but I don't mean that in a bad way because I really like this form. I think like I like it. I don't know how to explain it. I kind of like the whole skeleton vibe of it, and I feel like the flame motif is kind of still there because a lot of people have been pointing out it's like blue flame, which is a hotter a hotter flame than red flame, and I think that's really interesting. But I also kind of like that's like this skeletal fire, if that makes sense. Maybe it's just because I'm doing the Deno editing, but Kamen Rider Yuki, when he transformed in Deno, his armor appeared with like this blue fire. So blue fire kind of reminds me of like, I don't know, ghostly fire. So I kind of get more of like a ghostly fire vibe from this form rather than like blue fire, like hot fire, I guess. I don't really know. So obviously you can see the books and the gimmick, which I love with it, but I'll get into that in a second. Here's another great image with it. You can notice he's fighting... I like that the Megi generals are... The generals are becoming a lot more prominent, because in all these shots he's fighting them. And in the last few episodes, they've kind of been showing up. So I like that. Since there's not really anything to the generals, I kind of like that they're just showing up as, like, more fighters, I guess, pretty much. So, here we go. Here's a great look at the book. So, basically, it's a big book, the big book. And when he opens it, to transform like all the other books, when he inserts it in the belt, he has to keep it open because there's this slot in the open part for the single Wonder Ride book. So the Saber or the Brave Dragon book is the main version of it, I guess. So he puts Brave Dragon in this, and then when he puts in the sword and pulls the sword out, like usual, instead of opening this book, it has this claw hand that flips out and just caresses the Brave Dragon book. So it's kind of, and then you have the image of like primitive Saber with his hand on this Brave Dragon book. So it's a really cool idea. I love this idea. I think it's really cool. I already said that, but I just really like the idea with this. The execution is all right, I guess, but the actual idea with this bigger book that the smaller books go into and like lock it is really cool. So this is not his final form. This is the super form. So I know a lot of people have seen 01. This is basically his Saber's version of Metal Cluster Hopper in more ways than one, because I think there's a better image later. I guess we'll skip ahead to this. So this is a berserker form. Well, kind of. I don't know how to explain it, but basically Toma's gonna be fighting everyone again, because you can see he's fighting, what's his name, Legiel here, and at the bottom you can see he's fighting the humanoid Saikou, which I'll talk about in a second. So Primitive Dragon is a berserker form again. He's trying to kill everyone. And I'm kind of mixed on that, because like just this last year we got what's it called, Metal Cluster Hopper, and like that was a berserker form. So it's kind of just like we're doing a berserker super form again. Like a berserker form, we've done berserker forms since like Double with Fang Joker, and then O's Putotira, and then Drive Dead Heat, and then Xaid Dragonite Hunter, and then Build Hazard, and then I guess you could kind of make a case for Geo Oma, and then Metal Cluster last year, and now we're doing it again for the super form with Primitive Dragon. But from what I hear, or not from what I hear, from what you can kind of see, it feels like it's not going to be like a berserker like Metal Cluster Hopper, where it was Aruto under the Ark's control, so it was like super methodical in the way it attacked. This, like, it looks like he's gonna be crazy. Like, he's not like evil, he's just insane, because there's a lot of pictures here where he's holding the sword by the blade. Like, he's holding the blade of the sword and he's slashing people with it, and I think that's hilarious, first of all, because it's so dumb. Like, that's not how you hold a sword, dude. What are you doing? But I think it's also really cool, I think, just kind of to show like how insane he is. And I think because of that, it's not so much of like a berserker, I guess. I mean, I guess it depends what your definition of a berserker form in Kamen Rider is. He's not so much of this calculated attacker, he's more of this rampaging attacker, I guess. So yeah. And then the main thing I like about this image is that you can see at the bottom left that he can use the other books in the belt, or in the, obviously in the belt. He can use the other books in the Primitive Dragon book, and it changes the styling on his shoulder and on his chest. So obviously the main version is using Brave Dragon, so you can very clearly see Brave Dragon, the dragon on his chest, and it says Brave Dragon on his left shoulder, which I think is really cool. I really love that detail. And if he switches, obviously it changes the title and it changes the image on his chest, and I think that's really cool. I love that little gimmick. Saber, in my opinion, is full of those kind of dumb like gimmicks, like, oh, the books are all the picture of a rider, and if you put them all next to each other, it creates this full image of a rider. Like, I really like little gimmick stuff like that, and that's like all of Saber in my opinion, and more of that is happening with Primitive Dragon. So I really like that. So I think what's this next image? And then here's a look at all the swords. It's not really much of anything. I think it's just a cool look. You can actually get a sneak peek at what we're going to be talking about with Saikou. But the story is getting really interesting because Master Logos is appearing. And this is apparently the whole leader of the entire Sword of Logos. And specifically the person Reika has been communicating with on the phone in the episodes that we've seen. And they're evil, obviously. And they are giving Toma... I say they because I think I've heard some speculation it could be a woman, which would be kind of... I don't know. I think that would be kind of cool. But it could also be a man because according to this picture, the Sword of Logos literally only hires men. Well, actually, no. It could be all the swordsmen are swordsmen, but all the leaders, like Sophia and Reika, could be ladies, and then Master Logos would, by extension, be a lady. Who knows? I don't. This is speculation, but from the movie, the Saber movie in winter, Falchion, the villain of that movie, had like this book, the Book of Ruin, I think it was called, and apparently the Southern base gets a hold of the Book of Ruin, and it turns into the Primitive Dragon book, and they give it to Toma. So it's kind of, I mean, it's very similar to like Thouser last year with Metal Cluster Hopper giving it to Aruto. What's it called? The Hazard Trigger giving it to Sento in build. It's very similar to that. So I'm kind of like, again, okay. But I don't know. It is just kind of like, okay, we're doing the same kind of storyline for the new form. But I am really excited for the form. It kind of took a nosedive there. It didn't sound like I was excited for it, but I really like the book. The book is super cool. I love the gimmick with the book, the other books. I'm really hoping that the toy is gonna use the activation sound, because that would just really, I think that would really make this so much cooler, just because you have that sound, because it's basically very similar to build again, where you have the hazard trigger you put on the build driver, and then you can put in all the other best matches and transform with those, but all the sounds come from the hazard trigger because the full bottles don't make sounds. I think there's an opportunity here where you can have the Primitive Dragon book makes all the sounds, obviously, because you kind of have to, I think. But you can have it very quickly activate, like, the Brave Dragon sound in the Wonder Ride book, and then we can have, like, at least a little bit of a unique factor to each of these Primitive Dragon changes to the forms, like this Brave Dragon one in the Lion Senki form. I think that would be really cool, but who knows if they'll do that, because maybe there's not a lot of room in the book to do that. So yes, this does alter Toma's personality, because it turns him into an emotionless fighter that holds swords by their blades and slashes people with that. Do I think Kento will come back? I think Kento and Caliber are gonna return because usually in Japan, when an actor is done filming a show, they get flowers. So last year, when the little assassin dude died, he got flowers and he didn't come back. And with X-Aid, when two writers I will not name died their actors got flowers, but they later came back revived. Caliber and Kento's actors did not get flowers, or at least we did not get images of them getting flowers. So they're not even trying to hide the fact. They're like, yeah, they're coming back. So I'm very certain that those two are coming back. Whether or not they'll come back as Caliber and Espada, we'll see. But I think they're coming back. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting, and then someone keeps bringing it up. So Saber is going to get a controlling item for Primitive Dragon. That's basically confirmed at this point, because in the catalog scans, or sorry, not the catalog scans, in the listings for the toys that come out every month, because it's Kamen Rider, Primitive Dragon comes out at like the end of this month, and there's another item that comes out next month that's the same price as Primitive Dragon, and then there's another listing that is two items, or those two items being released in a bundle pack. And that's very similar to like the Hazard Trigger being released, and then the month later the full bottle comes out and they're packed together. Or I mean, even in this season, I'll get to this in a second. Or even in this season, the Jao Dragon, or the Jaku Dragon book and the Driver came out, and a month later got repackaged with Jao. There's very clearly another item that's going to go with Primitive, and I mean, if there's another item that goes with the Berserker form, it's pretty obvious that that item that goes with the Berserker form is the controlling item of the Berserker form. Now, what I'm interested in is, what is that item going to do? Because it's the same price as this bigger book, a Bach, if you will. So I'm kind of interested, like, how is that going to be utilized with the Primitive Dragon book? I think in the belt, it doesn't take up the whole belt. It only uses the left hand side where Brave Dragon would normally go in. So it's very possible that the bigger book goes in on the left hand side, and it does like another opening thing on the Primitive Dragon book, and it's like, I don't know, they like two hands or something. I think I'm kind of hoping that I was hoping, I guess it's kind of not really going to be happening at this point, that it would be a new book that you put in where Brave Dragon goes, and it kind of fills out the left-hand side of Saber, so he's like more symmetrical, and symmetrical means he's not being controlled anymore. But I don't really know. It's kind of interesting. It could be. This is kind of what I'm gonna lock this in as my speculation, that it's gonna be a somewhat bigger book that he'll put in Primitive Dragon, and it's gonna be a new emblem for the sword, the Rekka, and then he puts that in, so it's like a new sword to control the new book that the Rekka can't control, and then hopefully the final form is like a new book for the left hand side, and then that's the final form. I just really want the final form and the super form to connect again, because I really love that. And there's kind of room to do that here, but it just kind of all depends on what will be the controlling item for Primitive Dragon. And yeah, so that's it for Primitive Dragon. Actually, one last thing I want to just forgot to mention, is I as much as I love the Tampograph gimmick on the left shoulder and his chest, it does kind of make him feel a bit oddly lopsided. So maybe the controlling item will fix that. So we'll see. So Patty Murphy with another €5, I think, super chat. Thank you so much. He said, "Fun fact: in the Middle Ages, knights would grab the sword by the blade and bludgeon the enemy to death." I did not know that. And there you go. That is, I mean, that's what's happening here. So I guess they really are they really swordsmen, or are they just knights? Because I guess Primitive Dragon is a very knight reference. He goes from Dragonic. I hate saying Dragonic. I'm sorry. It's Dragonic, not Dragonic. Anyway, he goes from Dragonic Knight to more of a knight holding his sword by the blade. And actually, as Ren Muteki pointed out with Falchion, this is kind of linked to Falchion. Like, he kind of has a similar silhouette thing with Falchion. His colors are the shade of blue is inverted from Falchion, and the Book of Ruin that becomes Primitive Dragon comes from Falchion, and he's holding the sword like Falchion did in the transformation preview we got at a stage show. Falchion holds the sword by the blade, and that's what Primitive Dragon is doing. So I think that's a kind of fun little connection to Falchion, if that is true. I mean, no, it is. I mean, it is true. He's holding the blade. Falchion holds the sword by the blade. So that's a fun connection to Falchion. Do I think / hope that the other riders ever upgrade to sword drivers? Not really, because I would really like more emblems, but I don't really want more emblems to replace the swords that are already out. Maybe because I bought them. Like, I already have the Dogo Kingekido, and I would kind of feel like upset if there's just another Dogo Kingekido, but it's the sword driver. Then it's like, what's the point of this big one that I have? So maybe it's just because I bought them, I don't really want them to do it. But like, more emblems in general would be cool. Like, if you made like Maya Rider and she has a new sword driver emblem, I would not be opposed to that. It's just the dudes that already have a sword without an emblem, I don't really want that to happen. I'm pronouncing Falchion wrong. I think it's pronounced Falchion. It's not Falchion. I know that. So let's move on to the other big thing that comes out this month. I'm actually going to take a sip of water first, so you can just bask in Sword X Swordsman for a second. Okay, so before Saber gets Primitive Dragon, Saikou is going to upgrade to a full-on rider form as Kamen Rider Saikou X Swordsman, I think is the name of the form. So the only new thing he's getting is the X Swordsman book. So it's a book, big book, I think. He puts it into the belt. But, well, basically, I guess. So the Saikou driver is made up of the sword. If you don't know how the Saikou driver works, you should probably go watch a review, because I'm not going to explain it very well. But basically, what's going on here is he puts the Saikou, or the X Swordsman belt, in the blank Saikou driver buckle, the one without any books in it, and then he opens it with the hilt of the Kogoken Saikou, and that activates the special attack look of it. We were told it was a special attack a special attack mode of the sword, but it turns out it's actually like just a different variation of the Kogoken Saikou, while Saikou himself, Yuri, will become a full-on rider, basically. That did not sound very good, the way I said that. I'm sorry if that confused you. Basically, I mean, literally, it's just what the caliber driver, if you know what the caliber driver, how that works, it's basically just a caliber driver, again, which is fine. I predicted this when, pretty much, like, once we found out that there would be a Saikou book coming out, a new one for his full rider form, and I was really, really hoping that it would be like the caliber driver, because that would just be a really cool through line connection with the two using the same belt, and the super form is like the same, and it was. I was 100% correct, and I'm very happy. I think the idea is very cool. The suit, the execution, it's really Nah, it's I don't know. It hurts to say that. So where do I start? So the book, I mean, actually, the book is fine. It's just I kind of wish it wasn't a brick. Not that I don't like the other brick books, but it's that they open up in a different way, and this one's just kind of a brick as his belt, and it looks kind of weird. And then in addition, the colors are just really not good. Like the green and orange is fine, but there is no green or orange on Saikou. So why did we make him colored? Why did we make the book green and orange? Make the book like yellow and red, like the weird red color he has. You could make it the purple and the yellow. I don't know. I don't know what the logic was to make the book a different color than the writer, than the form. That I don't know. Or at least not that it's a different color, but that the colors they went with don't work with it. Like if it was just an all black book or like a gold book, that's fine. But like just the colors contrast so much with the suit, it just really sticks out in a bad way. But then the suit itself. What's the next image? Should I just... Yeah, we'll stay on this. The suit itself is fine. It's like really bulky. I don't know. It feels oddly bulky, but it shouldn't be bulky, I think. Like the shadow was really slim, and this feels really bulky compared to the shadow. I don't really know. And I mean, I think the design is fine. I love the idea that it's a comic book writer. I think that's really cool, especially since the X Swordsman book is based off the comic book that Saikou is using or is reading in the show currently. So clearly he's just going to be like, hey, I like this comic book. What if I just made it my new form? I think that's honestly what's going to happen. And I think that's kind of funny. I think that fits the show and it fits Yuri's character. So I just kind of wish there wasn't this purple. The purple just kind of feels weird with this, with the weird pinky red and the yellow. It's just, I don't know, the colors just kind of aren't really there. The whole design is not 100%. And I mean, the design is, I don't know. I guess design, I don't really know. I'm just kind of mixed on this thing. I don't really know. Yeah, it would have looked much cooler if it was gold and silver, like the Saikou rider form was in the sword. But I like the whole comic motif they wanted to go with, but the shading is like I don't know. The shading idea is fine with like all the dots. I think that's fun. I think that's cool. It just, I don't know, maybe too bulky. I don't know. I'm not really in love with this thing, but the idea I really love, and just kind of the fact it's this humanoid form for this sword rider, but he still uses the sword, it's just a different form. I think that's cool. It's cool. I don't hate it. It's just like, I don't know, you could have done something a little bit better, I think, guys. X Swordsman is the name of the book. For someone who was wondering. This isn't the only thing that Saikou's getting. I think this is the next picture. Yes, here we go. So, I actually really love this. The X Swordsman book has, how many pages? It has the page you open before you transform, the transformation page from when you activate it, and then it also has these two other page sets, which upgrades the shadow, which is awesome. I love that. So on I know they have specific names, but I can't remember them, and I also don't know them. So basically, on the left, on one page, the Saikou shadow will have a new leg piece that has Saikou's face on it and rider kick goodness. And on the left, it basically creates like a new kind of shield, but also it's mostly just a big golden face, or like a big weapon with his face on it again. So, and they're both different designs from the actual full Saikou form. So I think that's really cool. I really love that idea, especially since it's like different pages in the book. I think that's really cool. I'm really interested to see how the toy works, and how, I mean, in the show too, like, does he transform and then, like, the book switches pages? I mean, yes, it does. I mean, like, how do you switch the pages? Do you manually turn the page? Is there a way you can lock it to a certain page, so, like, when you quote-unquote transform, you get one Saikou mode, and then you switch and you get the other shadow mode? Okay, thank you. The left is the Saikou Shadow Wonderful, and the right is Saikou Shadow Powerful. So, what I think is really kind of annoying, is that the how do I say this? The sword is still in the full humanoid form. It's not in the Saikou form. I mean, I guess it makes sense. I'm guessing these are maybe like, I don't know. I guess I just need to wait for the show, because it kind of feels like, I think there's just another image that's the same thing. Yeah, here we go. It kind of feels like it should have been like a Saikou Shadow upgrade, which is definitely what it is visually, but the sword changing kind of makes it feel like it's like Yuri is the foot for some reason, and the Saikou Shadow is kicking him around. So I'm just kind of interested in, like, why the kicking form as opposed to just you become the rider, I guess. I mean, I guess you could make that argument for why does Climax form have a punching when it can kick. So maybe I'm just being too nitpicky. But I am excited for this. This is the last part of the Saber scans. And I'm excited for this form. I'm gonna buy the stuff because I really like the Kogoken Saikou, and I do love the idea of X Swordsman. It's just the colors of X Swordsman, the book, are kind of off in comparison to the form, and the form's colors are kind of off in general. This is probably actually on the right, this one. I think this is the best image. It doesn't really look as bulky, but you can definitely see, I think the purple and the red clash too much with the yellow. I think we needed either the purple or the red. We didn't need both, I think. It doesn't really work. And I think actually the face, now that I look at it, the face is gold, and there's no gold on the rest of the suit, so it just really stands out. I think that's the problem. It's more of that this gold is just, like, it sticks out like a sore thumb because nothing else is colored metallic except the silver undersuit. So, yeah, I don't really know what's going on with that. But there you go. Do I think it looks like Quiz a little? I don't really see it. I don't know. If you see it, that's fine. But I don't see it. This man is a sword, a boot, and a gauntlet, and a full person. He's just he goes places. He really gets around. So yeah. What anime do I watch? I don't watch anime. I watch tokusatsu. I am kind of interested actually in, like, the transformation, I guess, as well. I mean, kind of just adding on to my previous point. Like, I wonder if this is basically Yuri taking over the shadow, I guess. I think there was a rumor that since the shadow has this hinge on it, that X Swordsman would be the hinge flips open. So I would maybe and since the undersuit is still the shadow, basically, I wonder if this is basically just X Swordsman lets Yuri control the shadow on, I mean, he already is kind of controlling the shadow. I mean, like, he becomes the shadow, so he gets this humanoid form, and then the wonderful and powerful forms are just like transferring all the power into it. So he still is controlling the shadow, but because X Swordsman is armor on the shadow that he lets him become the shadow, it's like moving all this armor means like, you know, here's the undersuit. I mean, I guess it's like people have brought up climax form, and I brought it up earlier, but I guess it's like exactly like that. If Ryotaro just controlled climax form, if we just remove the Imagine for a second, I guess it would basically be like he moves the other pieces on its own, but not for a final attack, just for different attacks. I guess that's what's gonna happen. I don't really know. This is the equivalent to Laser Turbo. That just clicked with me. Actually, it's more of Laser Level 3, because Laser Turbo was a different rider, and it was just kind of it was just a different rider. It was like the humanoid laser, yes, but Giri Giri Chambara was basically exactly what this was, which was a different gimmick that turned the bike rider into a human rider. This is the gimmick that turns the sword rider into a human rider. So, I mean, like, there is the Laser Turbo comparison, but I think it's more similar to Laser Level 3 than Laser Turbo. So, will I make Kamen Rider Craft Season 2? Yeah, I mean, probably at some... It won't be like a recurring thing. I'm planning when the Saber update comes out for the mod, I'll make an episode about it, and that'll be it. I'll probably just do updates, or I'll probably do videos whenever updates come out and there's new stuff to mess around with. Beast Morpher is the worst show. Dino Fury will be bad. Also, Power Rangers will be canceled if Power Rangers doesn't have money. So, that's a lot to unpack. I thought Beast Morphers was fine. It's a little weird to say Dino Fury will be bad when the only thing we know about it is nothing. And Power Rangers is not going to be canceled because Hasbro bought it for a large amount of money and probably will not try to have it die so soon. So, do I think that he's really just a sword? I mean, do you think he's just a personification of the sword, or he's someone sealed inside the sword? Oh, okay. That's a good question. I think we're gonna find out with X Swordsman when this debuts. I think, kind of going off what Yuri said in the last episode, or one of the episodes, I don't remember, it kind of sounded like he sealed himself in the sword, but also just the design of the Kogoken Psycho looks like it was always just a person. So, I don't really know. It's kind of interesting. I think we'll find out with X Swordsman if we haven't already found out, because I haven't seen the latest episode subtitled, but do I think of myself as a badass? No. Absolutely not. When is Saber Unboxing 3 coming? I don't know. I have it recorded. I have the toys like less than 5 feet away from me, but I don't know when I'm going to edit and release that, because I do want to focus on the other, I want to focus on the review videos, which I should probably mention right now. So, hopefully next week, well, yes, for sure next week will be, we won't find out until Yuri's V-Sin one. That's probably too true. So next week is going to be Rider Potential Deno. That's coming out sometime next week. I don't have anything confirmed for sure, but if you want to see it early, like this weekend probably, you can become a patron for $2 and you'll be able to see it, and you'll also get access to the extended audio for the you'll get access to the extended audio for that video and the previous video and future videos. So a lot of video stuff you get, including sneak peeks at the future videos. And then after that, I'm basically just going to start working on the Kiramager review, so that can come out after the finale. And then sometime, I'm not sure the specific ordering, but after the finale review, or the whole Kiramager show review, will be the Zenkaiger series premiere review, maybe paired with the movie, depending on if that gets released online, like with Kiramager. We'll have to see. If not, it's just a premiere review, whatever. And then the Kiramager Sentai Potential. And then the after that is March. And March, I'm probably not going to release a lot of videos because at the beginning of April, actually no, March I am going to release a few videos. At the end, I'm keeping quiet about it for now, but basically I want to do something for the 45th Sentai anniversary and the 50th Kamen Rider anniversary. So I have a big ranking planned for both. So if you yeah, I mean, that's all I can really say for now because I want to keep it a bit of a secret. But I am going to, there's going to be a big ranking starting in March and ending kind of in April for both Rider and Sentai. So there's that. And then after that, I'll do the Shinkenger review and Sentai Potential, and then the Ultraman Z review, the Orb review, and from there I have no idea. Also in between that is going to be the Dino Fury review. I might just do a live stream after Dino Fury comes out, because I don't really know how feasible it would be for me to do a review in the middle of all this craziness with the rankings and stuff, because I know it's not, like, I don't know, the Dino Fury review probably won't be that interesting. So we'll see. That's tentative plan. Will I do something for the Ultraman 55th anniversary? I want to, because I started watching Ultraman. Thankfully, I think that's in July. So I don't have any plans for the anniversary, but I do want to do something for the anniversary. If anything, I might just do the I might put the Ultraman Orb review out on the 55th anniversary, since Orb was an anniversary. So we'll see. We'll see what's going on. But I do want to do something for the Ultraman 55th anniversary. I just have to figure out what that is. Let's see. I'm going to go on for like 7 more minutes now or something. So when am I going to speak about Primitive Dragon? I already talked all about Primitive Dragon. You can scroll back a bit in the stream. I'll end the stream with this Primitive Dragon shot. Or no, I think there's probably a cooler image. Yeah, definitely. We'll do this one. Okay. Thoughts on Godzilla vs. Kong? I'm excited for it. It looks super cool. I like the other 3 MonsterVerse movies that have come out, and this one looks very cool. I'm excited for it. I'm Team Godzilla. Where do I buy my Rider stuff? It is in the description of my unboxings, but I know that all my Saber stuff is coming from Hobby Link Japan. I'm not sponsored by anyone, by the way. All my Saber stuff is coming from Hobby Link Japan, and a lot of my X8 stuff that I'm starting to get now is coming from Mandarake. Do I know what episodes these forms will debut in? I do not. Sorry, but I know that I think Saikou X Swordsman is coming out first, and then Primitive Dragon is coming out, I think, at the end of the month, I think. So there's that. So it's more of, yeah, it's like the end of the month. I don't really know for sure the dates. So what unexplained aspect in Saber so far interests me the most / makes me want to know the answer to the most? Honestly, maybe the stuff with the southern base. I want to know. Reika's obviously, now we know, is working for Master Logos. So I want to know what's going on with Master Logos. Like, what are they doing? Are you, like, why did they want to frame? I mean, there's a lot I want to know. Like, why is it a man or a woman? That for one. Is it why did they want Toma to join the southern base? And then, you know, he didn't want to join the southern base, so why frame him now as a betrayer, a traitor? And then, you know, what's their end goal? Like, why did they want the Kogoken Psycho? So there's a lot I want to know basically about Master Logos. That's basically it. Does Saber have a new sword? No, this it's the same sword in Primitive Dragon. Yeah. What do I think of Ultraman Gaia? I have not started it. Um, what do you think when Yuri said, "I cannot drink because I am sore"? That was funny. Yuri's actually my favorite character. I think he's really funny in the show. And what do I think of the new complete form? I think it looks terrible. I don't like it. I like the ideas of it. Like, let's make a new decade super form, but like it's super weird how like the cape, it feels incomplete. We put all the cards on the chest again. Like, you could have spread some of them out. He has this weird horn with 02 for some reason, because we wanted to make, I think, a 2021 joke, which is fine. I'm all for stupid gimmick jokes, but I think you could have ripped that 02 off and it would have been cooler to have an all Heisei decade form. So, am I watching any other shows other than Toku shows? I started watching like His Dark Materials on Netflix. On HBO Max, because I got HBO Max to watch Wonder Woman, and it's cool. And then I'm watching WandaVision, obviously, because the MCU is very cool. And that's it. What is my favorite lock seed? I don't really know. One of the apples, I think. I've seen that. Power Rangers was confirmed to not be leaving Netflix today. Very cool. I guess that's why Hasbro didn't announce anything, because they're like, what do you mean it's leaving? It's not leaving? I haven't seen anyone else really see it, though, so maybe it's not true, but I'm assuming it's true. But who knows? I guess we'll just really see the day that the the day was supposed to leave, for sure. What if we have new emblems? I mentioned this earlier, but I really hope the writers we have already don't get new emblems, because I feel like that kind of spits in the face of giving them their own unique swords. But new emblems for new writers, I'm not opposed to at all. I was also going to mention it earlier, but I forgot. I can go get the picture because it's not very hard, but the southern base has like all these dudes, and the second I saw these dudes, I'm like, these are mass-produced writers. They're becoming southern base mass-produced writers. Like, you cannot bring in a bunch of people in one faction in the Kamen Rider show and not be like, not try to do a mass-produced writer thing. What they're gonna do with that, I don't know. It could be like X-Aid, where they all just use Wonder Ride books and turn into writers. That could be what the Kamen Rider Flint rumor was. Maybe they all get an emblem with the sword driver. Maybe they all get a new sword. Maybe they all use the Ankokugen Kurayami, since we don't know where that went. I don't know. It's very interesting. Maybe they won't turn into mass-produced writers. Who knows? We'll see. But I hope they do, because I like mass-produced writers in Kamen Rider. I think that's always cool. I love the new decade form. It's so awful. I do not love it because it's so awful, but I'm glad that people do like it, and that most people like it because of how crazy it is. I haven't seen anyone that's like, this form is beautifully designed. Everyone's like, it's so crazy, and that's why I love it. And if you love it because it's crazy, then you are well within your right to love it. What do I think about Saber's second arc so far? A definite improvement on the first arc. I enjoy the story a lot more because we're taking our time with things. There are still a few problems, like the other writers are kind of not doing anything now, but I do enjoy this arc much better. Any theories how May could be a writer? I thought she was going to become Kamen Rider Flint in the rumors for quarter 2, but those rumors also talked about Saber Dragonstar, and Saber Dragonstar is fake now with Primitive Dragon here. And in addition to that,
Flint would have been in these magazine scans because it was supposed to be in February. So I thought she was going to be a writer as Kamen Rider Flint, but that has been proven false. And who before we barely knew when stuff was like how stuff was happening, because we got rid of the catalog scans with all the toys, and then we got like the toy leaks, and then they got rid of the names, and then we had like one rumor, and now that rumor's gone because it's been proven false. So who knows what's going on anymore? And I'm excited for that. I'm all for not knowing what is going on in the show. So I mean, I'm kind of okay with it, but I'm also kind of like, oh no, what's going on? If they removed the cape on Decade's new form, do I think it would be better? I think it would be better for sure, but I think it still would have problems. I've seen this a few times. I forgot to bring it up, but that image, everyone's bringing up that image in the latest Saber episode with all the swords on the circle, and everyone's saying one of them is... So obviously, it could mean 3 more riders, but it could also mean nothing, because we could get premium Bandai swords. It could also be like Saber's next upgrade is a new sword, or his final form is a new sword. So one of those swords is a new sword in the sword driver. Everyone's saying one of them is the blade driver sword, the Kyomu for Falcon, but I don't see it at all. Like no, that's a lie. I can see the silhouette, but it just seems wrong for them to be like, Falcon's going to appear in the show, here's his sword, but like, we know what the sword looks like. Why would you blur it out and like censor it? We know what it looks like, just show us the sword. So yeah, I don't really know. I mean, 3 more swords, as long as they're not... I mean, actually, speculation is that they're going to be more emblems, because they have the same kind of shape of the sword driver sword. So if there are just emblems, I'm super happy. What are my thoughts on the Saber ride watch? It's fine. It's a ride watch. I don't really have any opinion on it. The Decade form it creates is super lazy, because they didn't even... It's just the new face and the new text, and I don't like that. That's really boring for what the Decade forms were, but who knows? I don't know. I'm not really excited for that special, just because the forms in it are really not exciting me. So yeah. Oh well. Where do I watch my Toku shows? I don't know if I'm legally allowed to say it, but if you look up online where you can watch Kamen Rider, there's a lot of places. Actually, no, you can try Toku Fun. I think that's not legal, but it's not terrible to say that, I think. This is what I've been thinking. I agree. What if Dragon Star is Primitive's controlled state? That's what I was wondering. That's what I was thinking. Like, that could be what the rumor was for with Dragon Star. It just kind of... It does feel kind of like a weird evolution of Primitive Star. I don't... Like, name-wise. But also with what Primitives... Or with what Dragon Star was rumored for, it was not... It doesn't really match up, I think. Because it said he got a new sword, and we know it's not a new sword. Now, it could be a new emblem, which is I brought up earlier. So maybe by new sword they meant new emblem, and then a new bigger Bach. We'll see. I'm excited for what the controlled form will be, just because of how unique Saber does its... Of how unique Saber's gimmick and form line is. It's really, especially with Primitive, it's really interesting to see where we go from here with the controlled super form and eventually the final form. So I think with that, I am going to end it here. So, because I'm tired. But thank you guys so much for coming to the stream, and we have almost 100 viewers. That's crazy. I'm just talking about Blue Saber. So thank you guys for coming to the live stream. If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing to stay tuned for the future videos. Especially Rider Potential Deno coming out next week, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you for watching.